Chardonnay is one of my favorite grapes. That's why I started the winery here. I've been a wine lover all my life. Starting very young. As not allowed my kids, I started to drink very young, and I drank wine only. Why wine only? My parents were English. They never had anything but beer, and really over gray roast beef. That's all we were at our house. But I had a German friend whose dad made wine, and it was free. We'd just go to the basement when we were 13 or 14 years old and pull out a little bit, And I just got so enthralled with wine at that age that I really never drank anything else but wine all through my life. As I moved up, I went and worked, took some time off and skied out in Banff at the Banff Springs Hotel. I was able to get into the wine cellar, actually started as a sommelier there. Back then, to be a sommelier, you got a black vest instead of a green vest. You didn't have to know anything. But the great thing is, we get to taste every bottle. So I got to taste some amazing wines. They had a really great cellar there. And that's where my interest came. And my first interest came in Chardonnay when I went to Burgundy. And I went to Burgundy and tasted these amazing Chardonnays. And I said, this is it. I want to buy in Burgundy. I've got to make some of this. Well, little did I know that's impossible to buy land in Burgundy, right? So I was a little depressed. I came back and I met Deborah Pascas, which was the first winemaker here. And she had taken a small little piece of vineyards and tried to make Chardonnay in a very old-style Burgundian style. And I tasted it, and the wine was amazing. And I said, if we can make wine like that here in Ontario, there's no need to go over to France. So I bought the first vineyard here in 2001, which is the Robbins Block, which was started planted in 1982. So the vines are quite old now. But as I started to dig around, I find that Chardonnay is all about the terroir. Chardonnay grape itself is very bland. It has no flavor profile itself. Its whole personality comes from what the soil type is and how different the soil types is. In Burgundy, that's like 150 million years old. It was covered in oceans, so you have a lot of saltiness, you have a lot of shallot down there. And then through the different time periods, they started to build up all these different layers, so it's like this. And then when the plates pushed together, they all exploded up in the air, and they went like this. And so limestone that's on the top here might have clay on the top, only 200 yards away. So that's why in Burgundy, there's 452 different premier cru vineyards that all taste different and been identified for over 1,000 years, and they very rarely ever change. And so I thought that was very interesting. But when I came to Ontario, I found out that our soils are 300 million years old. And it's been pushed from as far away as Ottawa in up to 10 ice ages, and they came through sort of like a snowplow, it's pulling all the snow. And so that's what's created the Niagara Escarpment. And the soils are all very, very different in the Niagara Escarpment. Not quite as complex as Burgundy, but pretty close. They have a lot of the same major influencing things that you have in Burgundy. You have a lot of limestone here, have a lot of clay, a little bit of schist. And so we have really fascinating terroirs, and that's what gives wine its personality. And that's why we make 5 different Chardonnays from different plots, because the soils are completely different. And from our Robbins Block, which is right at the bottom, where the soils are more what we call on our secondary bench, they sort of flown down over millions of years and settled at different layers. So as they sort of wash down the escarpment, sort of settled in this flat part. They're very rich. They have a lot of clay in them. They have lots of soils, a little limestone farther down. They give you a really rich, round wine. Now, if you take our Quarry Road vineyard, solid limestone. And that sort of gives you that really pure stoniness. You're going to put stones in your mouth when you were a kid. All the guys did that. I don't think the girls did that. All the guys did that. You get that sort of, the white, chalky mineral taste in that wine. And it always gives you better acidity, like very pure acidity. So people either like it, if you're a Burgundy lover as well, I would say it's a difference between a Pouilly Montrachet and a Meursault. Meursault is a little rounder, richer, and Pouilly Montrachet is a little pure, real mineral, really good acidity, and a very piercing finish. So I think we have very,
soils that are exactly the same, and I take our wines here to Burgundy all the time for blind tastings. Now, the Burgundians who have been making wine there for 1,000 years, they taste it, they automatically know it's not one of theirs. But that's because they know their terroir that much. If you know Burgundy, you'll say, okay, I know what tastes from this village just doesn't fit. But they're always amazed at what great complexity that we have in layers of texture and finesse. Now, they don't like Burgundy, or they don't like California, and they don't like Oregon. And I said, well, why? And I did some investigation. And those wines, you've got both places, you've got one type of terroir only. It's only volcanic soils, one type. And so one type of soil produces kind of one flavor of wine. You need all those different soil levels to give the personality of the wine. And so what happens in those places is, since all the wine starts the same, the winemaker has to make it a little bit different. When they pick it, how they ferment it, what type of oak they use, what type of trees. They try to influence the wine, and that's why you end up with big vanilla flavors, oaky vanilla flavors, custard flavors, because they're trying to impart terroir by artificial methods. A lot of people say, I don't like oaky wines. I said, well, just don't drink California and Oregon wines. Drink Ontario wines. And I really do believe that we have, probably to Burgundy, we have the second best terroir in Ontario. It makes great wines that are very unique and very different. You have to have them side by side to do that. That's why this tasting is so exciting, and why we have so many plots that I've bought over the years, is because I'm looking for different expressions of terroir that give you a very different taste and sense profile. So Chardonnay is all about looking to the middle palate and seeing the flavors you can get in the middle palate. Okay, Jeff, I'll throw it back to you.